I'm sorry, but I believe I've let you all down, pioneers. I've truly just let Black Friday just skip my mind. My cognitive dissonance of not wanting to go out and shill money to corporations to have things that I don't need, to get things for family members that they don't need. And, I did not apply it to my work and the importance of this day. If we take a look at yesterday's date, we get a very important number that we speak about on this channel a lot. The 14 and the 15. Very powerful number. We know that the 15, the Tarot deck, the 15th card is this fictional character, the devil. So that's very important to know. And not only that, but I got a huge ego check yesterday. Ego giving us that 15. Ego being a part of our shell. And we'll go over that in a little bit. But the importance of this day, yesterday, being Black Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, I should have saw it. I've known I've been missing something in my decodes and technical analysis, the price charts, etc. And I'm truly sorry to not be able to give you this day in advance. My work has been so centered around Rosh Hashanah and Hanukkah, as well as, passing through Samhain around Halloween time. The National Preparedness Month of September, as well as October, the month of surprises, and Saturnalia coming up. So hate that I missed this, and it's a big ego and gut check for me. We like to hand out gut checks on this channel, and we love corrective criticism. Say what you mean, but never say it mean. Corrective criticism used in the right way could be very powerful, and to miss this is something I'm definitely sorry for. I'll say that again. It being Black Friday give us the 47 for the 47th week of the year that we are in, and we know in numerology, using the laws, we will remove this 0 and we get that 25, the same 25 that we get in. Let me make sure ego goes down here. That same 25 that we're getting in BTC, the ticker for Bitcoin. And if we're going to remove the 0 and 205 and get 25, well, we've got to do the same with 70 as well. And we're going to get that same 7 for Bitcoin, BTC. So very powerful yesterday. But that 70 tied us straight back into our work and the Shemitah, the 7-year sabbatical cycle, the release year. And then we see that 18, which we know ties us straight back into Venus, you guys. Very powerful. So, not surprising, giving us that same 27 and 25 as well. So again, very powerful, our work being tied around the sun, the moon, Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus being the trinity, controlled by the sun and the moon. Solomon, sun and moon. Okay? So very, very, very powerful. And hate that I couldn't have came out here and provided you with this in advance about Black Friday. Now, I will come at you in my defense in just a moment. With a post I shared 30 hours before we saw this sell-off. And the importance of the day that was Thursday, the 25th as well, Thursday. We spoke about that in Thursday's video. But also, when we typed out today's date, November 26, 2021, or yesterday's date, sorry, November 26, 2021, we got that powerful 28, which we know is a perfect number, which we know is the sum of 56. 28 times 2 is 56. So very powerful. And we got that 25 as well. Okay, so again, very powerful. When we've spoken about the importance of this 43 number lately, and we'll touch base on that again today. And there's that 31, which is the mirror of 13, tying us into the 13-year Bitcoin anniversary that we just entered around Samhain and Halloween. And we prepared you for that time as we passed through that. But again, tying us straight back into Black Friday with that 28. So being a very powerful number. And let's not forget that we spoke about this the other day as we entered into Sagittarius, the Centaur, gives us that same 28. Very powerful. The 26, yesterday we see this sell-off. Centaur gives us 26 in Chaldean. So again, very powerful things that we witnessed. That could have been provided, I think, with the code. And again, sorry that I couldn't have came out in advance and done that. When we look at yesterday's date, real quick, before we get into anything else, we see that when we added up 11 plus 26 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1, we're getting that 42, tying us straight into Saturn. And we know Saturn equals 42 in numerology. So some will say that 42 is considered to equal everything in life. Hey, that's just what some say. You do the research on the internet and they'll tell you about this number. But we also see that this day yesterday was 11 weeks and 3 days from the start of the Shemitah and Rosh Hashanah this year. So very powerful. We've spoken about that 113 being our favorite disinformation number. Tying us straight into the Babylonian Talmud. Okay, the Baba Kama. And it's, we've spoken about this, where a suit arises between an Israelite and a heathen. If you can justify the former according to the laws of Israel, justify him and say, this is our law. So also, if you can justify him by the laws of the heathens, justify him and say to the other party, this is your law. But if this cannot be done, we use subterfuges to circumvent him, like mainstream media, like not factual, like not true or dishonest, green screen, fake reality, dead celebrity, dream world, politics, fiction, disinfo, illusions, bullshit, and sports entertainment. So very important number and very important day yesterday, as we can see. The code provides it to us all. And we'll get that 8 in 80 days when we remove the 0. The cycle. Wash, rinse, repeat. Life, death, rebirth. Okay? So very important. And we also see that it was the 330th day of the year, which gives us that our favorite transmutation number, or our first favorite transmutation number. We saw that second favorite in 44 a few minutes ago, in Centaur, our second favorite transmutation number. Very important. Transhumanism equals 44. That's why it's our second favorite. Don't tell nobody. But anyways, very important, you guys. I think, that 27 we got in Venus obviously tied us straight into Jupiter yesterday as we transitioned out of the day of Jupiter, Thursday, the day before, the previous day. So very important. Right? What's today? Saturday. Yesterday was the dump on Friday. Yeah. The other day before was Thursday, the day of Jupiter. So very important again. That 36 we get in Jupiter yesterday, tying us into Venus. With that 27, we know we get that in Bitcoin. So again, Bitcoin highly tied to Jupiter, Saturn, and Venus. Yesterday was, again, a date when added up. 11 plus 26 plus 2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1. We got that 42 that we know we get in everything. But who runs everything? Saturn, the father time, Chronos. So very important. And I hope you stick around to the end of the video today and you see the importance of December 4th and why I believe the new moon will hold significance for, the top of Bitcoin this year. and why some say if it will break over 100, why I think it'll be 144,000, like some others believe. And I believe I know the importance of why they believe that number. So very important. You see, 330th day of the year, we went over that. Yeah, and we checked our ego, you guys. So again, sorry to not be able to provide you with this code ahead of time. Black Friday slipped my mind because I'm not interested in going out and shilling a bunch of money. My cognitive dissonance to it did not allow me to add it to my work around the Shemitah and Rosh Hashanah, as we entered into, Hanukkah. Being 72 hours away from this, and my informational and educational video yesterday, this should have been in it. And or before it, one of the two. It should have been in one of my previous videos, to be quite frank. But I've been more prepared about Hanukkah coming up, and I'm sorry about that. Also, in my defense, I would like to battle and say that 30 hours prior to this dip, I came out and stated that we were seeing a falling wedge and eventual MACD bullish cross on the daily time frame, as well as bullish divergence forming that was already noticeable on the daily RSI, and that I'd be out to talk about it. And that we were still in our hurry up and wait position. You've heard me say that. Letting things play out. Okay, so this should have been in my informational video yesterday, and I apologize for that as well. I let you down again, pioneers, and I'm sorry. But I'm here to give you all I've got today. I'm going to lay it all out. Point blank period. So basically, we had a lot of buy pressure and orders set from the 55 to 50K range. And most were around 53,000, where we fell to, you guys. And then you have nothing to the downside. Alright? And then you had more orders and pressures to sell at 70K, a psychological range. Right before our 72K prediction, you guys. Right over our previous high at 69. That's the most important thing right now in a bull run, is the continuations of higher highs being formed. And that is what we are looking for, and that is it. So if you follow the order book of market manipulation, and if it wants to fill orders and liquidate people as well, price would first drop to 53K and 50 at the lowest, taking out our 51 and 52 call fours that we've been adamant about since the beginning of the month, that we eliminated with technical analysis. But hey, what's up now? Anything can happen in the middle of a bull run, especially as we enter price discovery and a blow off top. But anyways, no need to go on. We see where we're at now, hovering right here above 54.5. So very important. So in my defense, even though I dropped the ball and I failed to keep my eye on the ball, I've got a strike. I don't need two more, and I won't let you down, pioneers and warriors. I definitely will do my best. As we take a quick look at Bitcoin and talk about the price charts real fast, I'll show you right now. We're looking at the daily time frame at an area view, and you can change this by going right here, right beside where you change the day, and click on area. You can also click on line, and it's very similar. But we're going to look at the area view of Bitcoin. And I wanted to come back out here and go over this very simple, but I think very important and effective pattern that is commonly used in technical analysis. And that is the falling wedge pattern. And we see three of them right here. We are in our third one. Our first one going back to June and July during our double eclipse period, and we're entering another double eclipse period right now. So very important. And our second one around our September high before the month of confusion and National Preparedness Month. They gave us a low. Our first LPS, last point of supply, a supply test before we SOS out of this Wyckoff reaccumulation period. So very, very important. Right now we see on the area time frame, we are testing our previous October 6th highs, you guys, at roughly, 55K. Satoshi Nakamoto equals 55. That was a previous retest of our past trading range back in April when we broke back up to that level in October. We were looking to break above our B wave of our ABC correction to show us that we were in continuation of this bull run. So very important that we're just holding support right here and that we don't break below that. Okay, we'll have to come back out and then, readjust if we break below that and don't hold support on our previous Rosh Hashanah sell-off. Back in, September 7th, on the first day on the 6th of Rosh Hashanah, we pumped. We set a new high for the, for the short term. Then we sold off on the Shemitah. Not a surprise. We go over this. We prepared you for this. We saw a bull trap that we called for. We saw XRP stopped out at $1.40. So very important. As we continue to look though, we're also holding support on our previous trading range back in April. April 14th being a day written internationally 144. So giving us the 144, going to be an important number that we speak about tonight in our decode towards December 4th and the importance around why I believe that will be the top of Bitcoin. But back to our falling wedge patterns and looking at the area view. The area view removes the volatility and the monotony that we see in the wicks and the price action that we see when we use our candles that you normally see on my screen. This allows us to see with a bird's eye view what's clearly happening right now in the markets. No questions asked, in my opinion. This allows us to see how the market is acting on closures only. Okay, so daily closures, weeklies, etc. And it gives us a more in-depth and less dramatic view of the price action during this chaotic time of price discovery in a bull run as we enter into it. Also, one great thing to use is the Heikin Ashi, which we can click on right here, and it clearly shows us that right now we're just still in a sell-off. Look at this substantial green growth. Just back to 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 back daily candles. You see, we knew we were in an uptrend clearly, and that's what we're looking to form again. And we're looking to pay attention to the Heikin Ashi when we do get more daily green candles forming. So very important. We'd be looking for our first red one or our first blow off top of a green candle. So very important. But the Heikin Ashi, just look at the difference in the candles. Pay attention to this time frame area and look at the difference in the candles. You see all that monotony, the craziness? Look at this time frame. Look at this over here and pay attention to all of this when we go back to the Heikin Ashi. It's so much clearer. Okay, so for anybody that wants a more in-depth analysis indicator and want to step their game up, I suggest look at the area, the line view, or the Heikin Ashi. Great things I've learned from my mentor. Pay attention to these falling wedge patterns that we're going to discuss in a second, and add them to your charts. Point blank period. Let's go to area view on the 4-hour time frame and look at this. We'll zoom back out. Still just holding support and hopefully building a trading range, continuation of a trading range being formed. these previous levels. So very important, very important. I think right now we're forming something very similar. Maybe I got to go back to the daily time frame of the area view to get this. All right, there we go. I think right now we're forming something very similar to right here or right here previously, and we'll have to continue to pay attention to that. So we'll see what happens. Just my thoughts on the area time frame. But again, back to the 4-hour area view of our fractals. We see that we have never made it to the end of these apexes of our triangles, and that's very important. We'll talk about that. But we see our prior distributional top back here in April that led us into an ABC correction and a Wyckoff reaccumulation. Very important. We saw it come in around February, March, April, again with the high on April 14th, the 144 date. And then we saw it sell off around Elon Musk and his Saturday Night Live special around May 8th. Crazy, right? You know, it's just crazy that he comes out and, you know, shields Dogecoin and Bitcoin and steals all your money. And then most of you sell on the way down because you panic and your portfolio's down like 90%. Anyways, we warned you of this. Go back, watch the video. We told you. We made a video specifically and told you if you sold your Dogecoin at 72 cents and put into the XRP, your grandkids would call you legends one day. But we had back-to-back eclipses to see an energy shift and a reset. Not surprising. We pay attention to the astrology and esoteric signs on this channel. But these fallen wedge patterns that we've fallen into, we see that they're a new pattern we can pay attention to. And to see patterns forming is something very important in technical analysis. We like to use historical data, and we like to form, you know, speculation and future price projection using these things, historical data, the past, astrology, and as well as the code on this channel. So we've seen over the past year that these fallen wedges are clearly a short term, and when I say that I mean over a few weeks, not days or tomorrow or hours. I mean weeks. Over the short term to be a very crystal ball hidden indicator that we can use and fall back on. So, you know, we're looking for a third straight line breakout out of this as we enter about 75% through the apex of this falling wedge pattern. Not to get confused with symmetrical triangles or, you know, bear flags or bear pennants. Maybe possibly this is a bear trap we are witnessing right here around Black Friday, yes. But you know, we're talking about the falling wedge, and I didn't want anybody to, you know, misconstrue that in any way. But it's happened twice now, and I'm, you know, very bullish. Maybe it's cognitive bias for me, but to see it happen again. We have not seen all these other altcoins have bull runs like they have previously. We have not seen Bitcoin enter price discovery, true price discovery with a blow off top like it has twice now in a 13-year cycle. I mean, it's wash, rinse, repeat. It runs on an algorithm. So I'm just very bullish to see it continue and to enter into the last leg. So very bullish to see these patterns form. We saw a W pattern breakout fail, which I'm going to argue that this is just a shakeout and a liquidation, and cryptocurrency is highly volatile, so that we can set lower lows in a W pattern breakout. And we'll go over that when we look at the candles and the price chart on the daily time frame, the 4-hour in a moment. But we did see our head and shoulders right now possibly be invalid. We'll have to look at that as well. But it's good to see things fail because we learn from them. So if we see these W patterns or this head and shoulders become invalid, well, maybe we can fall back on holding support on this symmetrical or this falling wedge pattern, and you know, getting a breakout at that 60K range I was speaking about in my Thanksgiving video. So very important. We'll have to keep an eye on that. So for anybody wanting to step up their technical analysis game, then booyah. There you go. Just my thoughts on that. You know, to each their own. And maybe it works well for you. As we also take a look at Bitcoin's RSI, and we talk about the bullish divergence that we spoke about in our post 30 hours before we got this sell-off. In my defense to forgetting about Black Friday and forgetting about this technical analysis in the video, it was on my timeline in my defense. But we've seen, let's go to 12-hour time frame, and let's pull this up where we can see it well. All right. All right. And as we look at the 12-hour time frame, we're able to see that we were clearly getting a downtrend in price action. We were clearly seeing a downtrend in price action while seeing a uptrend being set and formed on the RSI with higher lows being formed so far, with higher highs as well. So very bullish to see this hidden divergence on the 12-hour on lower time frames. And it's a bullish divergence at that. This relative strength index as well as the MACD. That's, you know, allows me to believe that this bottom truly is in. Now that we see Bitcoin fall to the 200 exponential moving average and trade around it, hold support of the bottom side Bollinger Band, and now we're trying to break back above this 200 exponential moving average. You know, that's bullish. That's the golden pocket that we've held support above right here around 53K. So again, very important. We saw rejection from the 888 as well as holding support of the 1. So that's very important. You know, to have a retest of the golden pocket, I don't believe is uncommon. You know, depending on where you have your Fibonacci's placed. And mine's been placed here for quite some time, going off of our previous April highs, which I think is, you know, where we need to set our Fibonacci's for coins that we're invested in this year that had highs around the April time frame. You know, I put my 1 all the way, I swing high to swing low, baby, and I go from there. And we're holding support of the golden pocket around the 200 exponential moving average on the 12-hour time frame. So again, very, very bullish. We know we use our 200s as indicators for the bull run, the 200 as well as the 200 double exponential that we would like to see Bitcoin get back above around 61K. So that'd be around the top side Bollinger Band as well at that 60K breakout that I was talking about. So we'll possibly see what happens. Again, could we be setting a bullish W pattern breakout, just a very big one? I don't know. We'll have to talk about that, but I still think this is on the daily time frame something we can consider possibly. I'm not sure. We'd have to definitely look at that and see how it plays out. But I definitely see this as the last final shakeout that we've spoken about. It's went lower than I thought with technical analysis, but using the code, we've called for these ranges. Not surprising to see $54,000 Bitcoin again, and we know Bitcoin is the sun, soul. It is Ra. It is Helios. You know, and we go over this, and we get that 54 in sun. So again, that 9 that ties us to BTC and the Bitcoin ticker. We saw price action yesterday on a date that gave us 14. We got that 14 in sun just now, right here in Chaldean, tying us back into Venus, you guys. Very important. But again, that 9 in BTC, Very important. Bitcoin is highly tied to the sun. It is the sun, Sol, Ra, Helios. We go over these things, so very important. Awesome. We talked about the bullish divergence on the RSI. Let's look at the MACD real quick before we touch base on everything we've spoken about this week. Boom. Again, we've just been forming a bullish divergence with uptrend in the MACD. Now it continues to go lower, yes, but we haven't broken this trend line yet that I placed. And you know, I set it kind of low, but it's alright. We see how it's going. Boom. So we're continuing to look for a daily breakout on the MACD. Let's look at the 12-hour time frame on the MACD, because, well, we did flip for a little bit yesterday, or the day before on Thanksgiving. You know, a little fake out, shake out, a little pump fake, head action. So I'm just saying, we'll have to continue to watch this MACD. I do think we're about to get a 12-hour flip bullish anytime now that would lead to a daily time frame eventually. So let's pay attention to these upcoming dates that I spoke about in the past videos, and we're going to get into those tonight, the 28th and the 29th, as well as today, the 27th. This 27 is plaguing our decodes right now, being a very powerful number. And we're going to go over that. We'll probably go ahead and get into that and start speaking on that. But Black Friday, again, just wanted to apologize for that. I was able to give you guys a heads up on my post. Again, 30 hours before we saw this sell off to 53K. And we weren't guaranteed to go any lower. I was able to provide you with that for a month in technical analysis as well as the code. You know, so if I would have just had Black Friday on my mind, you guys, and added it to my work, then I'd have been able to provide you with this ahead of time, I really think. And I'm sorry about that. I won't drop the ball. Again, I promise. So let's talk about some dates we've gone over recently. And that is, we'll start, I believe, on last Thursday, you guys, the 18th of November. We were seeing some very important connections this day, it being 72 days from the start of the Shemitah and Rosh Hashanah. Also 2 months and 11 days, which gave us that very powerful 112 number in reverse, which we know we get in Judaism, the individuals who, you know, celebrate these things. So very powerful. Okay, to get that connection there. Not surprising to see price action for Bitcoin on this day. Let's go back to the daily time frame as we talk about this. Go to the candles so we can see the volatility. Boom. But again, November 18th, we see we're down 5.72%. Not surprising, you know. Just very important. We saw this connections in the date and the code, 100 or 2 months and what was it? I'm sorry. It was 2 months and 11 days. So again, 112 Judaism gives us that 112. It was 72 days from the Shemitah, and you know, again, that connection in 72 ties us back to Bitcoin. So again, not surprising. It really isn't. But as we continue to look at this day, we also know that it was the day that gave us 43 days left in the year, and we've spoken about the importance of that number 43. That tied us back into Black Friday, did it not? Black Friday gave us that 43. No, it gave us that 47. I'm sorry. We spoke about that 43 in today's date, or yesterday's date, Black Friday, November 26th. All right, there it was. I know we talked about it earlier in the video. So very important that we see this connection again, just plaguing us, that 43, that 34. Very powerful numbers. but it came on the 322nd day of the year, which tied us straight back into our friends at the Skull and Bones Society, the Order 322, Room 322, or the Brotherhood of Death. So, and it might not pull up, my computer's slow. But there it goes, tied us straight back into our friends there. Again, price action to the downside. Do you think they liquidated your money? I believe so, but I'll behave. But I'm just saying, again, that the 18th day of November, it tied us straight back into Venus, you guys. Light bearer. The morning star. So very important. I'm just saying. And Venus gave us that 27. We're played by that 27, like I said. Jupiter gives us that 27. So very important. We saw those connections yesterday in yesterday's date. As well on Black Friday and sell-off. So very important that we make these connections here. That 43 though, I said it was important because we spoke about in our previous videos that Bitcoin and its BTC ticker, when we typed that out, it gave us that 43. Okay, so very important. Skull and Bones, we broke that down, the importance of the number 322 in pi. So if you haven't watched the videos, I'd go back and watch that. But we also made the connection to the synagogue of Satan with the 223. Giving us that 223, tying us straight into the society, or Skull and Bone Society, the Order 322. Giving us that 77. We're getting plagued by these 77s and 27s, and we know 27. It's not only 9 when you add it up, yeah, but think of it as 2 7s. You guys, remember. So 27 and 77, that connection there, that we're getting played with these numbers right now, and we're going to speak about that in decode, obviously, in just a minute. You'll see. But the following day, after this day, because this was the eve of our full moon, and we came out and we spoke about the importance behind that day, the full moon and the bearishness it brings, and the importance of this being the longest ever partial lunar eclipse. And now we're seeing Bitcoin and price action just drain out for the longest we've seen in historical data at this end of a bull run, at this end of a cycle, the end of a 4-year period. So very important. But that following day, we spoke about the importance, again, of the full moon that came on the 19th. Energy, it just, a lot of energy came into the market on this day as well. And in the price action, we went straight up. So it's important to pay attention to that. Boom. Straight up. Fake out. Leading into the 20th. Before the 21st and 22nd that we'll speak about in a minute. But again, just volatility up and down right here at this time period. Faking out leverage traders, to be quite frank, if you ask my opinion. Yeah, sorry. But it left 42 days left in the year, and we get that connection in Saturn, you guys. It's just important. I think that we saw all this volatility coming up, by using the code. And it gave us that 13 in 10 weeks, 3 days. That 13-year anniversary of Bitcoin, the Mirror 31. It's important connections. The Dragon, 13th Zodiac. It's very important connections. That Zeus connection in that 7117. That's why we saw green. There's that 15. That 51, we're getting moon. It's a very important day right here, I think, the full moon. That led us into our fake out that we saw on the 21st. We saw again. Price action to the downside. Not surprising. Leading into the 22nd of the month, which was a date that gave us 74 numerology. Lucifer equals 74. Jesus, the duality. We spoke about this in our previous videos. So it's foolish to be able to come out here provide you for that, because we warned you of the 22nd and 23rd of the month for a long time. But that we also got that downside connection or that price action to Bitcoin BTC on the 19th because of full moon. I forgot to tell you that 36 we getting full moon, that 18 tying us back into Venus. It's very important. But that 22nd, okay, a day that gave us 74 in numerology. Alright, left 39 days in the year. The mirror of 93 we get in Saturn. And it gave us 76, Shiva, the goddess of destruction. We get 76 in Shiva. Okay? And we also get it in Skull and Bones. And we just saw the 322nd day of the year. Alright? 76. So very important connections. We saw price action to the downside. We've seen more red 22 days than we've seen green 22 days. The 21st and the 22nd of the month, Jesuits equal 21 and 22. Reset, change, all very important things. And we go over this. Reset, giving us that 22. Okay, change, giving us that 22. That 25 tying us into Bitcoin. Okay, recycle gives us that same 22. You know, it's very important. This 1122 date though, being two master builder numbers. Okay, and when you add them together, you get that transmutation number, that 33. The unfrozen pineal gland. Again, so that 11 being the master number, the twin towers, the restart, the new beginnings, Genesis 1-1, New Year's, January 1st. Changing creation. Architecture, very powerful number, okay? So again, gave us that Jesus date, Lucifer date with 74 in numerology. So important that we got this connection here. But when you add 1122 up differently, when you add that 1 plus 1, you get 2. And it came on the 22nd, so that's 222. And I think that's important because we saw downside and we don't order out of chaos. Gives us that 222. So I think it's important that we understand why we saw downside on that date. Because it was 1122. 222. When you add it up, 1 plus 1 is 2. Leave the 22 alone, you get the 3 2s. I'm just saying. But I'm just saying. Very important. But this date was also 77 days from Rosh Hashanah, and we're getting played with that the following date. No, sorry. If we go back to Rosh Hashanah, not the Shemitah, this was 77 days. And we get this connection again in Judaism, giving us that 77, but as well as Jupiter's Thunderbolt, you guys. And we go over this. That same 112 and 77. You know, we were struck by Jupiter's Thunderbolt on this date. So very important, you know. When we go to the following day, back to the Shemitah, on the 23rd, we saw price action straight up. Why? Because it was 77 days from the Shemitah. Very important. Still, Rosh Hashanah and the Shemitah were 2 different dates. Rosh Hashanah is never the same day every year. So that's very important. And we're going to break down the importance of all of this in just a minute. So bear with me, you guys. But I'm just showing you how we were getting these things this week. But we did see on this day, we got that 77 date, you know, numerology connection again. And then when we go 2 days later, we get a date that adds up to 27 in numerology. And we're seeing all of these 27 dates with price action, you guys, to the upside. The 23rd, the 25th, the 22nd. When we go back to Rosh Hashanah, we saw price action to the downside. Just very powerful volatility on these 77 date numerologies. So again, this number being very powerful, that 27 being perceived as 2 sevens, that 27 and 77 having a connection right now. Very powerful in the decode right now. So very important that we see this, that we understand this. This was a date that left 36 days in the year. We got all this connection in the markets again because Bitcoin gives us that 36 connection, you guys. So very powerful, very powerful. And all of this coming on the 22nd. We were talking about that. All this is, we talk about Shemitah and Rosh Hashanah because it's the Jewish Hebrew New Year 5782, which gives us that 22. So again, that 22 being the recycle, the change, the reset. You know, as we enter into the 22nd year of the 21st century ourselves, it's very important, you know, to understand this. That's all I'm saying. So let's go ahead and get into the importance of why I call the December new moon for Bitcoin. You know, it's gonna be the top, you guys, and we'll go over that right now. I know you've heard me state it time and time again that it's coming up. You know, we're about to witness the end and go into a bear market, etc. But if we look at Bitcoin and we go to December 4th and measure that from Rosh Hashanah, we see that, well, it's 88 days since the start. And you're going to be like, well, that's not really important, John. But I'm going to argue that it's very important, because when we look at previous Shemitahs, or Rosh Hashanahs, I'm sorry, dates and bull runs for Bitcoin, if we go back to September 20th, 2017 to December 17th, 2017, we see that was a span of 88 days, which was 2 months and 27 days. With matching date numerologies all the way down the board, a day that left 14 days left in the year. So again, the Rosh Hashanah and the top of the 2017 Bitcoin bull market had a connection here. A very important one. And if we look at this year's September 7th, 2021 to December 4th, 2021, we're getting that same 88 day, 2 month and 27 day connection. That 227 being a very powerful number that we'll discuss in a moment, that goes with this prediction here. But we see again that matching 57 and 21 in date numerology with the Rosh Hashanah. And I'll show you that importance real quick, because when we type out Rosh Hashanah, well, what do you know? We're getting that 57 and that 120, which in the laws and rules of numerology, the 0 is the egg. It gives birth to numbers, has no value. You drop it, you get that 12, the mirror of 21. And we're getting that connection in the 21 as well as the 12 when we type this date out. Very powerful, a day that leaves 27 days left in the year, and we know we get that connection. See, we're getting played with them 27s, but we get that connection in the mirror of in 72 in Bitcoin. We get that connection of the 27 in currency. You guys, very powerful, okay? So remember these things. 27 is the mirror of 72, the Jesuit order 72. With 72 angel and demons that pull our string, you guys. But again, this day, December 4th, leaves 27 days left in the year. And December 4th would be the 7th day of Hanukkah, you guys. We're in the 7th 7-year release year sabbatical cycle. The Shemitah. Okay? Bitcoin gives us that 7. We're in the 77th year anniversary of the Bretton Woods Conference. These 77s, this 27, at least 27 days left in the year, precede that as 2 7s. These connections here, you guys. The day, if we measure from the top of April 14th, a 144 date, the 4th month, the 14th day, written internationally, it would be written 144. 144. Well, to December 4th, what do you know, you guys? April 14th to December 4th. Boom. It's 234 days. Or 33 weeks and 3 days. 333. Or 7 months and 20 days. Like the connection we're getting in Bitcoin. And that's 72. Okay? So very powerful, the importance of this day. But I'm not even done yet, 27 days left in the year, okay? We went over that. 2 months, 27 days, or 88 days from Rosh Hashanah this year is December 4th, okay? So we get that 72 connection and that 36 in Bitcoin, right? December 4th is the new moon, okay? And it's our next total solar eclipse, by the way. Okay, so we're getting that 36 connection. There's that 27 connection, the new moon. Good goodness, that 99 tying us to Jupiter. Okay, so, but new moon, we get in Bitcoin connection with the 36. Okay, 72. 72 times 2 is 144, and we're entering Sagittarius. We're this oh man, I totally misspelled that. We're entering Sagittarius. Boom. Entering Sagittarius, which gives us that 144. That connection in Bitcoin with the 45. That connection to Venus in the 81. Okay, so very important. That 144. Alright. Chronos, you guys. Chronos gives us that 144, that 72, that 36. 36 plus 36 plus 36 plus 36. 36 times 4 is 144. There's that 72, that 27 connection in Chronos. That 144. It's not just my opinion that I believe if we break 100K in Bitcoin, we could see 144,000. It's the code. And I'm just providing it. I'm just, out here to give it. I ain't got nothing to do with anything. If we see it, cool. But it's not surprising that, we also get that connection in, the system we're entering, you guys. I'm just saying. It's that 144 connection, that 81 in Venus, that 54 in Sun. And maybe I'll come out with a deeper decode to show the importance of this. But it's not just my connections to, understanding TA. I don't even use TA, really. I use the code and try and learn TA on the side. I think the code's more important. But we're seeing these very powerful connections to December 4th. And, it really doesn't stop there because, again, we said it was a 2 month and 27th day, the 2nd month and 27th day since the start of the Jewish Hebrew New Year and the Shemitah. And, I think it's funny when we see things like insider trading giving us that 227, or, things like forbidden fruit, maybe? Things we're not supposed to know? I don't know. But who knows? But when you type in the return of Christ, oh, you get that same 227. But we get insider trading and you know, forbidden fruit. Return of Christ would bring in a new beginning. Dang it. You know, dang it. I spelled new beginning wrong. Anyway, a new beginning. That's what it bring in. It gives you 227. But it's all ritual and symbolism, you guys. Giving us that 115 and 55. Tying us into Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto, Bitcoin. That 227. Who were the first bankers, you guys? The Knights of the Templar. You know? Where's it at? Alright, it's gotta be a different cipher. Anyways. Maybe I spelled night wrong. Who knows? But this goes on. What are we gonna see after the bull market? Market collapse. There's that 36 prime number, that 151. That 51 tying us in the moon. 52 tying us in the Bitcoin ticker, the mirror of 25. So, very important, you guys. I think 2 times 27. If we look at that 227 date, 2 months and 27 days. Well, 2 times 27 is 56. Tying us into the Eye of Horus. You guys, I mean, tying us into BTC in the ticker 56. So I'm just saying, it's the code providing me with this date and the importance behind it. Definitely, you know, should have had a lot of this added to the video. The Black Friday. Sorry about that. That could have helped. You know, but we'll see what happens, you guys. I'm probably about to get off of here. I just wanted to come out and touch base and share the importance of this week and everything now that you know, I'm seeing how the market was affected by Black Friday. And I tried to do my informational and educational video yesterday, probably one of the better ones I've ever done. And I left out this technical analysis pattern of the falling wedge and the bullish divergence. And you know, I'm kicking myself on that. I'm kicking myself about forgetting about Black Friday and not adding that to my art. But you know, you guys, nothing changes, and we're gonna continue. We'll possibly be back out later today. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But we've seen that 27 number, and today's the 27th of the month, leading into the 28th. And well, when we look at today, we see right off the rip we got 34 days left in the end of the year to the end of the year. Very powerful right there, that number 34. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Today's date, when added up, we get the mirror right there, 43. We get that 114 when we get it 11 weeks and 4 days from Rosh Hashanah, you guys, and the Shemitah, which, you know, deoxyribonucleic acid 114. Very powerful number, that 114. Pac-Man 114. You know, we've gone over this number previously in some videos, so pay attention. But too much 20 days, there's that 22, you guys. We're plagued with that 22. Let's pay attention. Reset, recycle, change, leading us into transmutation. So very important. But tomorrow, off the rip, we're getting 44 in numerology. 33 days left in the year. Transmutation. Very powerful day tomorrow, I think. Giving us that 11 week, 5 days. We know we get that 115 in Lucy in the sky. That Lucifer. Very, very important, you know. Just pay attention. Just pay attention. And again, that 1129. History shows a dump on this day. 2 months and 22 days. That 222, order out of chaos 222. We get that connection to 45 in Bitcoin. That 18, we get in Venus. You know, the morning star, the goddess Lucifer. Okay, 333rd day of the year. Very, very powerful, you guys. So let's pay attention to this day coming up and see what happens over the next few days, and we'll be back out to discuss it. We can only go up, down, or sideways, you guys. I believe, you know, we got indicators saying that the bottom is in now. So let's see what happens. But with all that being said, y'all take care and God bless. We'll see you in the next one.